Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever you're watching this or listening to this. I hope you're having an amazing day. So, welcome to episode 8, I believe, of the Built for More podcast, which is mad that we're already on episode 8. And I'm still keeping up my it's not a resolution, it's my goal of making a podcast every day. So what has gone on in the world of Siobhan today? What has gone on in the world of Siobhan this week? So this week's been quite an interesting one. In terms of day to day, it's been same old, ticking boxes, training. I did my posing today with the lovely Emily, and I think we're on our 5th lesson in, and obviously I'm practicing between sessions as well, and I'm loving the progress that I'm making in my posing. So I cannot wait to see where I'm going to be. I was going to say this time next year, but then my comp will be over then. But I can't wait to see where I am as I get close to the show as well with this consistency in my practice. I am very, very excited with what's to come there too. Training is going absolutely amazing. I'm 1.5 weeks into my new plan and I absolutely love it. The leg day that I did today is really, really bloody brutal. And not that I need John there with me, but I like to have him there with me to give me that extra push to get me through that session. But yeah, if you don't know about my leg session on Sundays or on a Saturday, sometimes I change the day that I do it. It starts off with leg extensions, and it goes into hack squats, then 45-degree leg press, then horizontal leg press, B stance, RDLs, and then hip thrust, and then abductions. But yeah, it is a brutal session, especially the rep range and the tempo as well. Like, it's my soul needs to leave my body in order for me to get it done. But we did that today as well. It's been a really good day, and the weekend was good as well because we went out yesterday with Emily to celebrate her birthday with a little boy. So like me, John, Emily, and Emily's little lad, and we went out for some grub there too, which was great because it was like my off-plan meal. And I also had a very, very exciting thing happen this week as well, which I'm not going to talk about just yet. But it's something that like I've thought of for a while, and I didn't think that it would happen. So the fact that it happened this week, and all my clients were excited about it as well, both the online and one-to-one PT clients as well. Like, they're all absolutely buzzing for it as well, and I'm so excited for them, because this thing that happened this week, I'm trying not to give too much away, can you tell? But this thing that happened this week is just going to make their journeys, like all of them, even the online guys, so much better. And I'm so excited, so excited. So I'm also excited to tell you, but I just want to hold off a little bit longer. So yeah, very, very excited and kind of like itchy to tell you guys. Anyway, so this episode of the podcast. So today we're going to be tackling one of the most common struggles on any weight loss journey, which is staying motivated. So I get this question time after time again: how do I stay motivated? Or even if I'm speaking to people on the gym floor, in messages on my Instagram. If you're not following me, why not? Go and follow it. Go and follow me, which is Siobhan, spelled SIOBHAN body balance, all in one go. So please go and follow me, because of course you can ask me questions and we can have a natter on there. So yeah, sometimes I'll get questions on there about how to stay motivated, or it's something that people tend to struggle with on their weight loss journey as well. So I thought I would make a podcast episode about it to nip that one in the bud quickly. Now, one thing that I am going to say about this episode is that I'm not going to be sugarcoating this. It's not going to be sunshine and rainbows. It's not going to be airy fairy, as I like to say. I am not an airy fairy coach. I'm a tough love coach. And even though I do have a bit of humour about me, and I try and say things in the most empathetic way as possible, I will never lie, and I'll never sugarcoat it. I'll never sugarcoat things to you or my clients. I will always say things straight. And sometimes that tough love, sometimes as a coach, you have to say things, and you should say things. A good coach should tell you things, not necessarily that you want to hear, but you need to hear. So yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it on this episode. I'm not going to be giving you fluffy pep talks or being like, yeah, you can do this, like take a day off and stuff like that. I'm not that person. if you're not into that kind of coaching, I am not the person for you, and I'd just recommend to stop listening if you are that kind of person, or if you respond best to that, because you're probably not going to like this podcast. But this podcast is going to be the real truth of what it takes to stay consistent and push through when motivation fades. So let's get right into it. So the tough love that I was talking about, and just what I said before, is motivation is unreliable. So motivation is an emotion. It's like happiness, it's like sadness, anger, all that, all those emotions, and it comes and goes. Like, you're not always sad, you're not always happy. It is something that's fleeting. So if you are counting on that emotion and always having that emotion to get you through the whole of your fitness journey, which, depending on where you are in terms of body composition, in terms of your goals, it might be a long bloody journey, you're automatically going to be setting yourself up for fail. So if you're going, oh, well, I'm just not a motivated person, well, no one is. Like, it's a fleeting emotion, and it's about having that drive to continue going when you really do not want, like, the last place that you want to be is the gym, but you're still there anyway, pushing out those hard reps and pushing and ticking the boxes on your journey, whether or not you want to or not. It's not that I want to, it's just that I need to in order to get my goals. So one thing that I want to think about is, how many times have you felt fired up to start something? And it could be a project, it could be a weight loss journey, it could be, oh, I want to get into reading every night, and you get really, really fired up about it, and or just something new in general, only for that kind of like spark to fizzle out weeks later. And it's probably pretty common because, again, it's just that motivation, and that motivation is like a spark. It's really, really good for getting you going. It's great for getting you fired up. It's great for giving you that initial push, but it's the discipline and the habits that you make in that initial period that will keep that fire burning, or that will keep you going as well. And sometimes, as I said, like, you literally have everything screaming at you, telling you to stop, telling you have all the excuse in the world. I always call it like a little devil on my shoulder. I kind of separate that voice in my head and see it as a different person that's talking to me, and I can choose to listen to that, or I can choose to go against that. So I tend to kind of like separate it and go, right, okay, this person's talking to me now. Do I want to follow through? What is the consequences of following through? And just see it as like a different part of me, which it is. Like, the voice that you have in your head is not you. It's just random thoughts and stuff that comes into your head, and you as an adult can choose to listen to it or not. So yeah, just stop chasing motivation. And one thing that I'd suggest that you focus on is building those systems that keep you going when you don't feel like it. So something that I say to my clients, and advice that I give to my clients, is make your workouts a non-negotiable. So for me, in my Google Calendar, which I'm sure I've talked about before, which I literally plan my whole life in my Google Calendar, I block out training. And that is when I'm doing my training. That's a day, that's a time, that's the amount of time that I'm going to spend in the gym on my training. And I set that as if I'm working on a client, which I am. It's myself. I'm coaching myself, I'm PTing myself during that time. And I'm just as important, if not more important, than the clients that I've got working with me. And that's not me being a dickhead saying I am more important. It's not. It's because if I'm not showing up for myself, then I'm not going to be able to be my best self for my clients. I'm going to be burnt out, I'm going to be exhausted, I'm going to be unhealthy, and essentially I'm not going to be walking the walk and doing what I tell them to do anyway. So I'd be a pretty shit coach if I didn't also take my fitness seriously, if I also didn't plan those things into my day as well, and if I also didn't show up when the last place that I wanted to be is in the gym. And I had someone say to me a couple of weeks ago, oh, well, it's easy for you when your job and your hobby is the same thing. And it's like, it's not though. Like coaching is not my hobby. It is a job. It is fucking hard work. It is not something that I'm like, what should I do in my spare time? Oh, I'm just going to like write some programs. It's not. Like, yes, I love it. I love it so much. It's the best job in the world, but it is still a job. It is still hard work. I still want to relax and play video games at the end of the day. And me training myself, that's also not a hobby as well. That's me being an adult and taking care of myself. I always compare it to brushing my teeth, taking a shower, eating a good diet, you know what I mean? It's me being an adult and taking care of myself. That is my fitness journey. Yes, bodybuilding and prep, yes, it's a hobby, of course, and it's a very demanding hobby as well. But even when I wasn't bodybuilding, even when I thought I'd never step on stage again, I was still consistently showing up for myself and training because I'm an adult who takes care of themselves. So see it from that side as well. And even before I even thought of bodybuilding, way back in the beginning, I still consistently trained. Yes, obviously I was struggling losing body fat, but I still consistently trained because I wanted to take care of myself. Because let's be honest, as we all know, training doesn't equal fat loss. It's the nutrition side of things. Like we train because we're adults and we want to be healthy, and loads of stuff that I've already mentioned on previous podcasts that I'm not going to go into because that's not the subject of this podcast. So yeah, make your workouts a non-negotiable. You say, like, plan the week ahead. This is when I'm going to be doing my workouts, and stick to it. So stick to the promises that you say you're going to do. Planning your meals ahead of time as well. Again, that's also going to help you too, because instead of thinking on the spot what you want on the spot, you already have it in. You've already planned in meals that you like. So instead of going, what do I fancy? And it's like, let's be honest, most of us always want like a Mackey's or like a takeaway or chocolate, or like that's what we fancy. What do you need? What do you need in order to reach your goals that you like? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you want in the moment. What do you generally like? That will also help you get to your goals. Think about it in that way, because on the spot, kind of thinking of it, that's where that other part with the thoughts will tend to chirp up a lot more, and we're not listening to that person, that other version of ourselves. We're not listening to that. We want to be dealing with like more logic and future thinking instead of dealing with those like emotions that'll just crop up with like random thoughts and feelings. We do not want to deal with that person. And also remember as well that every day that you show up for yourself, like showing up for yourself with your nutrition, showing up for yourself, getting your steps, showing up for yourself, going to the gym and training fucking hard, drinking your water, all that fun stuff, is a day close to your goal. One thing that helped me on my last fat loss journey, which is when I did the photo shoot and got not shredded for it, but like pretty lean, like I had abs. One thing that helped me through that diet, especially when it got really hard, is I need to stay on plan. I need to screw my head on, because if I don't, this diet is going to be longer. And I'd rather the diet end sooner rather than later, so I can start bulking, having more food, getting my calories up, etc. And the thing that has helped me throughout this bulk as well, like, yes, I've gained, well, I mean, my coach is happy with the amount of body fat that I gained, but let's be honest, gaining body fat is, no one ever likes doing it. But something that's helped me keep my head on and help me stay focused is I do not want to prep for longer than is already planned, because right now we've got the plan of that I'm prepping for 18 weeks. I don't want that to be 20. I don't want that to be 22, 24, etc. Like, I want to, again, get in, get out, go back to bulking, to move up a category in terms of physique development, which I'm very excited to do as well. Because if I haven't told you, this season, even though yes, I do want to place, and yes, of course I want to do well, the pressure's kind of less, because it's just about me getting into stage condition. It's just about me coming back on stage again and getting the feel for it before I push up to wellness. Because even though I like the look of IFBB bikini, but in terms of like PCA, I prefer the look of wellness. So we essentially just want to just see what we look like in stage conditions, get the judges' feedback, and then move on. So I'm trying to think now, okay, what can I do to make that prep, quote unquote, easier, because it's not longer. So yeah, remember that it is every day that you show up for yourself is a day close to your goals, even if you don't feel motivated. And also remember too that you can still do things regardless of your emotions. Like, I bet you that there's times where you've been to work when you're not motivated, or been to work when you're sad or happy or angry, or done the dishes when you're sad, happy, angry, unmotivated, all that fun stuff. You can still do these things and do actions regardless of your emotions. Next thing that I want to talk about is the power of your why. So I know I've briefly spoken about this on podcast before, and more so in like the smarter goals. So if you haven't listened to that podcast, go and listen to it. Not now, listen to this one fully first, and maybe just like mark it on your list to listen next or something like that. But the power of your why and your why on your fitness journey is so important, because let's be honest, when you set a goal of wanting to lose weight, and most people come to me If you're wanting to be a certain number on the scale, wanting to be a dress size, wanting to be certain centimetres around the waist or whatnot, or look in a certain way, it's not just about that. And I always try to explain to my clients this when they first start with me, is that the goal is not really their goal. Like, it is, and it is like a unit of metric that we're going to use to help you progress, but the reason for wanting that is their goal. So it's essentially what that number, if let's say it's a dress size, number on the scale, etc., it's what that number and what that goal represents. So for example, losing body fat, it could be having more energy to keep up with your kids, or again, improved health, stamina to keep up with your kids, confidence when you walk into a room, confidence in the bedroom, like whatever floats your boat, or even just proving to yourself that you're capable of more, and capable of being that next level version of you, which is essentially one of the reasons why I'm going back into competing, is to prove to myself that I've still got it, essentially. But yeah, and also just level up in the way of going from fitness model to bodybuilding, which is quite a difficult transition, and something that in posing I've noticed I've still got quite a lot of like fitness modeling habits that I'm trying to get rid of. But yeah, it's essentially what that number represents to you. So I do have a homework task for you, and it's something, again, if you're in the car, don't write this down, keep driving, be sensible, all that jazz. But if you're not driving and maybe potentially you're doing chores or washing the dishes or doing some cleaning, stop, pause this podcast, and find yourself a pen and a paper, or even just grab your phone and write down your why. And remember to make it personal and specific as well, so that when you feel like skipping a workout, running through the snack drawer, again, just not hitting your steps, being lazy, all that jazz, you can remind yourself of your reason why, which is, again, it's a tool that I utilize too. Again, on the last diet that I did, when I was really struggling, when I was having those, I always call it dark days. I know that's dead dramatic, but I do. When I was having those days, is that I'd remind myself I am leading from the front for my clients. I am walking the walk, and I still need to show up regardless. So that's essentially, my clients helped me with that. But for example, if you're a mum, you could also essentially use your kids for this. Like, you are walking the walk and showing your kids what you can do, and what they can do as well. If for example the end goal is to get to a point with food where you're not tracking your intuitive eating and you're healthy and you can lift these weights and do these things, and again, it might just be a case of you're inspiring maybe you can inspire your parents, your partner. Again, it doesn't have to be like for a certain person or helping to inspire a certain person, but it's something that you can think of that literally lights a fire under your ass, like, I can fucking do this. And with what I was saying before, your why, that reason, it needs to be stronger than your excuses. And yeah, I am going to call them excuses, because let's be real, you are always the one that is standing in your own way. I know a lot of people scapegoat the partners, the kids, or pet peeve when people scapegoat the kids to me, like it grinds my gears, but that's another rant for another day. People tend to like scapegoat certain situations. Friends as well. Oh, my friends made me do this. And it's like, they didn't hold a gun to your head though. They didn't physically force feed you that food. You made that decision, not your partner, not your kids, not your friends. You made that decision to do that. And again, if you're scapegoating your kids, like, oh, I can't go to the gym because of my kids, do a home workout. Like, yes, I know it's not as optimal as going to the gym. I understand that. But do something. Instead of going, oh, well, I can't do it perfectly, so not at all. What can you do? Like, it's thinking of this as well. Like, you are always the one standing your own way. And there's things that you can always do. There is always a solution to a problem. So do something about it. Next topic that I want to talk about is romanticizing the process. Now you're probably like, what the hell, Siobhan, what do you mean by that? Is sometimes I will chat to people about dieting, fitness, all that fun stuff, even just like living a healthier lifestyle, and we'll come on to the topic of, oh, well, it got too hard, or I just didn't really like my workout, I didn't really like doing it anymore, so I just stopped. But something to remember, and again, it's another tough love moment, weight loss isn't always fun, and it's not meant to be. Let's be honest, I have never met anyone who's like, I fucking love dieting. I don't think you ever will. Like, you'll never. I fucking hate dieting, absolutely hate it. And that's why I diet the way that I do because I don't want to be dieting for that long. Like, I go in, I get my shit done, I don't fanny around with like a shit ton of off-plan meals and, oh, but this, oh, but that, oh, it's my cat's birthday, so I have to have a piece of chocolate cake or this, that, and the other. No, have a piece of cake on your birthday, fair enough, but it's your fucking cat's birthday, your partner's birthday. Let them have the fucking cake. Why are you having cake? It doesn't, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's excuses again. And I know some people are like, oh, it's like, I get it, but you're only just delaying how long your weight loss journey is going to take, which means that you're delaying how long you're actually going to be able to show up on that. Like, if let's say you fanny about on your fat loss journey and it takes you like 1 to 2 years, like let's say you don't actually have that much fat to lose, and like it takes you 1 to 2 years when you're already like a healthy weight and you just want to get like have the body of your dreams, for example. If you're holding quite a lot of body fat, it is a different story. But yeah, anyway, let's just get back on track. I always told you that I'd ramble on these podcasts, but let's say that you're something that could have took 6 months, you've made take a year. That's an extra 6 months of you not being able to fully relax at birthday parties, at like meals out with your friends, at the works Christmas do or summer party and this, that, and the other, when you could have been going, do the fucking job, get the fat loss days over and done with so that you can enjoy those things, those Christmas do's and stuff like that, without having to think this is going to make me go back on my weight loss progress and stuff like that. Because I know I've been there. I know that when you have those off-plan meals on those events over and over and over again, when your main goal is fat loss, which you haven't achieved, I know that that goal is niggling in the back of your head because I've been there and I hated that feeling. Whereas when I showed up on like christenings and weddings and stuff like that, and it's like I've already eaten and I'll sit there on my Pepsi Max, I know that, like, for example, the next wedding, the next year, I'll be fucking going ham on the bloody wedding buffet. And even like, obviously this podcast is going to be up, well, forever. Well, this weekend, like, I went and had a massive bloody bowl of fried chicken and waffle fries, and then had a shake, a massive cookie, and a couple of cream eggs. Like, it was fucking amazing. And I didn't have in the back of my head, oh, but my diet, like, I didn't, because I fucking worked my ass off. I've already had the diet. Now I can have all the fun shit and enjoy time with my friends. Like, that's why I push so hard. But yeah, anyway, that was a massive tangent. Weight loss isn't always fun. Like, get in, get out, and enjoy the food. There will be days during your fitness journey, even if you're not on a diet, where your training and where your sessions will fucking suck. And I said that you don't want to be there. Everything will just feel fucking heavy. Again, whether in a dieting phase or if you're in a surplus, not all your sessions are like holy. When you're in a surplus, it's not, you still have shit sessions, it's just a lot less than when you're in a deficit. There's going to be times where the scale doesn't budge up or down depending on where you are, and when it feels like you're fucking grafting for nothing. Like, there is times, again, it doesn't matter if you're in a deficit or if you're in a surplus, there are going to be those times, and there's going to be periods, like even with me in a surplus now, where I'm like, I just want to fucking diet, but I've got to keep on fucking grafting for another 16, nearly 15 weeks until I can start prep again, because I'm getting to that weird point where I'm just uncomfortable in my body. It's one of those. There is those points, and this is normal. But the thing to remember is that the process of achieving a goal, any goal, it doesn't even have to be fitness related. It could be like building a business, or, I don't know, building a Lego house. That's a really weird metaphor, but again, playing a video game, the process doesn't have to feel good all the time in order for it to work. Like, it doesn't. Again, same with your actual job. Like, every day isn't fun, but you'll get these moments in work where all the, like, let's say you're working on a big project at work, that project, there's going to be periods where you're like, this is fucking amazing, I'm loving this. And there's going to be periods of that project that you're working on at work where you're like, Jesus fucking Christ, I just don't want to, like, I used to be a designer. Usually in summer we'd start doing all the Christmas shit, and there'd be a point with doing all the Christmas menus, like, oh, and the Christmas this, that, and the other, that you'd just be looking at them and it's like, I'm just fed up looking at snowflakes and baubles. Like, I'm fed up of it. And there's other times where it's like, oh, this is amazing, like, look at the twinkly lights that I've got on this animation. Like, there are parts of that, and that's okay. And it's the same with your fitness journey as well. There are going to be parts that feel fucking amazing, and there's going to be parts that you've really got to drag yourself through it as well. Stop waiting for it to be easy or enjoyable. Success in anything comes from showing up even when it's hard. It's about showing up, ticking the boxes, doing the do, and again, that goal will get closer and closer and closer. I try and think about it this way, is that every tough day you pass, or the dark days that I was talking about, it's just a day. It is just a day, and anyone can do anything for a day. And these tough days that you push through is kind of like a tick box to your future self, of the next level version of you. And again, it's something that I say to my clients, is think of that next level version of you who's fucking bossing her or his career, is enjoying their dream body, and is living their best life. And if you think of that future version of you, they haven't skipped their workouts because it's cold, because they're tired, because of this, that, and the other. They haven't used a silly excuse like that. They haven't not shown up because they just don't feel like it. They have put in the work day in and day out to get to where they want to be. And for you to become that next level version of you, you've also got to do this as well. So again, something to light that fire up your ass when you're not feeling like it. What's future version of, I always say, future version of Siobhan, what the fuck's she doing? What is she doing? And how would she feel about the way that I am acting when I'm just not in that mood? She'd be like, stop being a fucking wet wipe, get up and get the fucking job done. So you can say this yourself. Then even like today when I was doing my hip thrust, I got to like 10 and I needed like another 2 more, like in order to beat my last score. I was gonna say score then like it's a bloody video game. I'll try and gamify things on my fitness journey. It makes it more fun and entertaining for me. But in order to get a PB, I needed to get 2 more reps, and I was fucking mentally clocked out at 10, and I was literally just like, bitch, 2 more reps, you're fucking getting it done. And I said it out loud. Like, I didn't have any headphones either, but I said it out loud. So I was like, I'm fucking getting those 2 reps. And again, it's essentially me just embodying that next level version of me. What would she say in that moment when I'm fucking clocking out on rep 10 doing my bloody hip thrusts, or like when I'm clocking out at fucking rep 2 on the leg extension? She'd be shouting at me like, get the fucking weight up. It doesn't matter if it's heavy, you can still do this. You can lift the weight regardless if it's heavy, regardless if you want to or not, you can still do it. And I always say to myself, we're done when we're done. Like, not when we're mentally done, we are done when we are actually physically, we cannot do it. So keep that in mind as well, a little tip from me to you. Another thing to help you stay focused as well is celebrating the small wins. So you might kind of be like, oh, Siobhan, I thought you said you weren't going to be airy fairy. This isn't airy fairy. This is really, really going to help you, because yes, you can have that tough side, but don't forget to celebrate the things that you are doing as well. It's not, yeah, you can be like, I want to be better, but celebrate those things that you are doing as well to keep you engaged as well. So, and this is, it doesn't matter how small it may seem, celebrate the things that you are doing. So for example, did you hit your water? Fucking amazing. Give yourself a pat on the back for that. Again, did you say no to the 3 o'clock snack attack in the office? If you did, fucking amazing. Did you hit all your steps? Did you show up for your workout even though you were tired, that it was bloody snowing outside or there was a little bit of wind? Like, you showed up for your workout, amazing. Like, you got some PBs, even better. Those are all wins. A lot of the time we always get focused on this magical end goal, and we forget the processes that will help us achieve that end goal. A lot of people just focus so much on the goal, they forget about the steps that they actually need to be focusing on in order to get there. The nutrition, the training, the steps, the consistency, the mindset. Again, how has your mindset been today? Have you been like a fuck average mentality? If so, celebrate that as well. If you've been a little wet wipe, call yourself out on that as well. Like, you need to think better, and you need to think more positive as well. And these steps, these small things that you are achieving are going to be the proof that you are moving forward, and they're going to be the actual things that will eventually build up and get you towards that goal as well. So yeah, give yourself credit for these things, but don't let it stop there. Use those wins as fuel to the fire. I always think about it as brick by brick. So every single day that you hit your water, it's another brick. That you hit your steps, another brick. And obviously the more of those little tick boxes that you're doing, the more bricks that you're building, and you will get to your goals. You will build that house I love a metaphor. I've just realised that as I'm doing this podcast, but I do love a metaphor. You're building that house faster than someone who'll be inconsistent just because they're just dreaming about this house but not actually putting any action to get it done. So yeah, use those wins as fuel to keep on going as well. And finally, my final point, you're probably like, thank fuck for that, she's going on a bit much here. I am very passionate about motivation, by the way, because I just get asked about it and people mention it all the time. My final point is that you are capable more than you think you are. And again, if you're listening to this and if you are not coached by me, you haven't spent much time with me in person or haven't spent much time chatting to me in person, if not, why not? Follow me on Instagram, start talking to me. If you haven't spent that much time with me, something that I like to instill in everyone is that you can do more. Everyone can do more. And a lot of the time, the people that don't believe this are the people who won't achieve more because their mindset is holding them back. Not this, that, and the other. They're not that type of person that can do X, Y, and Z. It's because they're not thinking that they can. Your mindset and how you think is so important to how you show up in the things that you do as well. So yeah, you're capable of more than you think. So more grit, more discipline, more strength. Something that I say to myself when I'm training, and full enough, I was saying this to a client the other day, is that when everyone gets to this position when they're training, it might be like day one in the gym and you've experienced this, or it might be like you're fucking year 20 in the gym and you've experienced and you've only just experienced this. But everyone will experience this on their journey. There'll be a point where you pick up a weight and your first thought, that other person, that thought process will come into play and chirp up and go, fuck me, this is heavy, this weight. And you have got to instantly react and go, yeah, but I'm strong. Yeah, but I can. Yeah, but I've earned the right to lift this weight. But I did it last week. You need to chime up and counteract that thought, because that's a negative thought. And if you go, fuck me, this is heavy, and you let that side keep on talking, that little devil on your shoulder, if you let them keep on talking, oh bloody hell, I'm only on rep 2 and I'm bloody dying. If you're letting that other side speak up, that weight is going to become harder and harder and harder to lift, and you'll probably do worse than what you did last time. And when I'm PTing one-to-one clients, sometimes I'll be like, right, we're putting the weight up, and they'll say, oh, well, I'll only be able to get 8. And my reaction to that is, well, because you've said that, yeah, you will probably only get 8. Whereas actually, like, no, say to yourself, I can complete my rep range on the higher weight, and you'll stand more of a chance of doing it. In the gym, fitness, health, the majority of it is how strong this is, not how strong your muscles are. It's how strong your bloody head is. Because I realise then that I'm on a podcast, I can't just point to things and don't know what I'm on about. It's how strong your mind is over your body, and your body is always stronger than your mind, and it can handle more and be pushed more and be pushed harder than what you actually think you can. But I'll get into that another time as well. So the only thing that's holding you back on your fitness journey is the belief that you can't do it, because you can. So as I said before, you can do it, and you will. And as long as you stop making excuses, stop waiting for motivation, and start showing up for yourself every single day, you will. So yeah, that's something that I want you to come away from this podcast with. I would say process them. Come away from this podcast with your fitness journey isn't about perfection. I always say to my guys, like, I'm not after an army of robots. I'm after people who are just showing up every single day, being 1% better and working hard towards their goals. That's not perfection. That's people working hard. And as coaches, I know I definitely can do it because I'm quite good at reading people. I say quite good, I'm very good at reading people. I can tell when people are making an effort, and I can tell when people are just not, like, are just making excuses and are just not trying hard enough. Again, tough love, there are people who just don't try hard enough, and I will happily call people out on that as well. And again, most people don't like it, but it's what they need to hear, not necessarily what they want to hear. And as I said before, it's not about perfection, it's about progress, and it's about proving to yourself that you can do more and be more. And eventually be that next level version of yourself as well. And more confidence and more resilience too. Thank you so much for listening to this episode today. If this episode lit a fire up your ass and you're like, oh my God, yeah, if you feel like that, or if it gave you the tough love that you needed and it called you out a little bit as well on potentially some excuses that that you have or are making, share it with someone else who's also on the fitness or weight loss journey. And if you're ready to take things to the next level, then follow me on Instagram. As I was saying before, it's Siobhan, spelled SIOBHAN. Body balance, all one word, and message me about one-to-one online coaching where I combine obviously fitness, nutrition and mindset, because I'm a qualified mindset and behaviour change coach as well, to help high achieving women just like you thrive in every area of their life as well. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to me ramble as usual. If you have any questions, if you have any suggestions of future podcasts or topics that you want me to cover, then please leave a comment down below, both on YouTube and on Spotify. You can also leave me a comment as well. And if you're not already following this podcast, please make sure you follow me. Please make sure you rate me on this podcast as well. Give me all over the world, because it just helps this podcast. It helps this podcast get to more people, so I can help more people, and obviously more people can learn from my experience and obviously from my knowledge and expertise as well. And yeah, I just want to help as many people as possible with this podcast. So do all the things that the podcast allows you to do, and I will catch you on the next one.